Hate Coalition members already are equipped to respond to, interrupt, and importantly prevent incidences of hate in our community. Our coalition and our numerous community members continue to stand ready as your partners to work together to create policy that changes and addresses the city's role in combating white supremacy today. We applaud the efforts to empower our city's employees with the necessary knowledge and training to create a Portland that embraces safety and belonging for the diverse members of our community. From my perspective, in a civil rights organization that's rooted in racial segregation and discrimination in housing, I also particularly applaud the language in the resolution, excuse me, acknowledging our government's role in the systemic and institutional history of racism in housing that took place across the country, as well as right here in our city. These past institutional practices, again, many brought forth and upheld lawfully by government jurisdictions, had their roots in white supremacy. That environment also manifested itself during historical times of rising white nationalism in this country. We think about these once legal institutional practices as long gone now, made illegal 50 years ago through that Fair Housing Act that we commemorated together last year. Yet they have created lasting legacies of racial tensions and disparities in our communities. The intentional racial segregation and denial of opportunity of these long past policies continue to echo today in areas as far-reaching as the racial wealth gap, educational achievement, and violent and deadly encounters between law enforcement and communities of color across the country and right here in Portland. Further, institutional and systemic practices and policies also serve to reinforce the hate that spreads to the personal level, to that on-the-street level. We have a history as a city and a state that literally intended to separate us. We have groups coming into our community intent on dividing us with hate. But we are thankful today for your statement that we will stand together, united against these historical and systemic forces, united against today's hateful forces, to say that together we will not tolerate hate, and stand together united in peace, respect, inclusivity, and equity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lazo. We appreciate your being here.
Buenas tardes. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler and City Commissioners representing our board. Welcome, Commissioner Hardesty. My name is Maria Garcia. I am a woman, immigrant, business owner, and one of the 3 co-chairs of the New Portlanders Policy Commission. Because my leadership is rooted in community organizing, I believe in the values you have listed in this resolution and the language of them being rooted in peace, respect, inclusivity, and equity. But I cannot say that it's because of our city's strength and diversity. I must tell you that I am also a member of the activist community, and I advocate for immigrants and oppressed people throughout Portland and surrounding communities, including incarcerated Latino men and in high security prisons all over Oregon. I have found it hard to promote the values listed in this resolution when engaging with City of Portland. I have witnessed the lack of dignity and value placed on community members seeking resolution for their experiences. I have witnessed violence and rhetoric used to deflect from accountability by the very agencies and leaders who stand up and speak on the terms and values of equity and inclusion. I have sat with members of this city who have spoken for hours about the need for civic engagement and direct support and education in all sectors of the city business and management, only to be rejected when they push toward the due process. This city does not have the answers. None of us really do. We have to truly want to be inclusive in order to add texture for this type of resolution. A community partnership takes an established and committed effort to unite and build. It is time for us to engage in our neighborhoods and develop relationships that matter. Our children need this, and we need this for our future. I like the idea of a resolution against white supremacy and alt-right hate groups, but it does not make me feel any safer. As an advocate for incarcerated youth and Latino men, I assure you that many white supremacist individuals exist everywhere, including the judicial system, county jails, and state prisons. Severe punishment and tough on crime laws are not working as we expected. Measure 11 is a clear example. Personal experience has revealed this problem is at worst at prison. It has gotten so bad that people segregate. White with whites, black with blacks, Latinos with Latinos. We had riots of more than 200 people inside a high-security prison in Salem due to racism in 2016 and 2017. Being a Mexican national, a victim of the first attack. And I know this is a fact because I advocate for him. What does this say about this community, about us, about our safety? The moment we convicted people with racist beliefs that have committed hate crimes, they're going to socialize and strengthen ties with their peers in jail who have similar beliefs, and even recruit innocent ones that will be joining out of fear just for survival. Eventually, these individuals will get released and commit hate crimes again and continue recruiting more people. We need cohesive solutions, addressing not just inside the city, but inside county and state prisons. Addressing racism from inside the walls also need to be a priority. I ask City Council to work in partnerships with county jails and Oregon Department of Corrections to make sure these individuals receive the attention needed, implementing perhaps a dropout program like other states. Also, this resolution cannot make any of us safer if we cannot even discuss what happened in August of 2016 to a child in this city who has not been the first nor the last. He happened to be the one we quickly forget, the one whose name should also be listed in this document. I will set his name on the record and extend to the council that when we speak of resolutions against hate, that we should make sure that all of us are partnered in making it work. Darnell Bruce mattered to this community and was killed by white supremacists publicly and without remorse. Please say his name and stand up for all communities affected by working not selectively towards a better Portland, but by holding leaders accountable, providing resources to people committed to this work. Gracias.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, respected mayor, respected commissioners. Congratulations, dear Joanne, Commissioner Majesty. And I'm very glad today, growing up with 9 sisters, to see a majority woman in the city council. Peace be upon you all. I'm very thankful for being here today. My name is Wajdi Saeed. I'm a member of the Arab American community and the American Muslim community. I'm a member of the New Portlander Policy Commission, and more important as well, a member of the Beloved community. According to Harry Belafonte, he says that although slavery may have been abolished, the crippling poison of racism still persists, and the struggle still continues. And according to my teachers, saying that racism comes in many different forms. Sometimes it's a subtle and private, and sometimes it's public and overt, and sometimes it's violent, and sometimes it's harmless. But it's definitely here. It's something that I think we are all guilty of, and we have to make sure that we deal with our own personal racism in the right way. Racism stinks, xenophobia stinks, bigotry stinks, hypocrisy stinks, Islamophobia stinks. Whatever our race, religion, color, we must stand in solidarity, change codes with our institutions, and speak loudly and passionately against racism of all shapes and all forms. Our Constitution states that we are all one nation under one God. It also states that we are created equal and no one person bears superiority over other. This is the opposite of what white supremacy stands today. The very ideology of white supremacy has been since the slavery, since the indigenous ethnic cleansing, stands against everything that this country or these founding fathers and mothers have created. It is inherent racism and a culture of hate lie against the very principles on which this nation and these great religions were founded. It is time that we, the people, reclaim our narrative, the narrative of humanity, a dignified humanity, as humanity, and revive our nation's founding principles. There is no black and white, and there is no yellow and brown. There is only one color, that is the human color, the human race. Our dear beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, linked our humanity to one body. If one part of this body aches, the rest of it rushes to help bring about healing and strength. We're currently aching within our homes, we're aching with our schools, we're aching with our city, we're aching within our state and within the liberal and the conservative circles. It is easy for us to point fingers at conservatives, but really we are all guilty. Each and every one of us, we need to collectively act to bring about healing and unifying to our private and public squares in a meaningful way and in a holistic manner. Over 50 years ago, Malcolm X, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, addressed the same issue. He says, if you stick 9 inches into my back and pull it up 3 inches, that is not progress. That is not progress, even if you pull it all the way out. That is not progress. Progress is healing the wound, and America hasn't even begun to pull out the knife. That was over 50 years, and here we are in the 21st century, in 2019, having barely scratched the surface. I'll close with the following saying that Martin Luther King has said. Dr. King, he says, I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war, that the bright daybreak of peace and the brotherhood and sisterhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and conditional love will have the final say. Now is the time, my dear respected Mayor and respected commissioners. Now is the time that we do something boldly. I urge the City Council today to proclaim a unified stance against white supremacy, against all of racism within city government, once and for all, for the safety and the dignity of our city, and once for all for the safety and dignity of our communities, our children and our humanity. Respected councilmen and women, it is very important that we come from the lips talk into an action, into a system of change to reform within our city government and city of Portland and the state of Oregon. Thank you for your bold leadership, and thank you, and may God bless you and bless your families and bless us all. Amen.
Thank you, Washington. Thank you, all three of you, for your testimony. We appreciate it. So, colleagues, that completes our invited testimony. At this point, Carla will open it up for public testimony. How many people do we currently have signed up?
We have 8 people signed up.
Very good. We can extend 3 minutes per person, please. And I would just ask people, when your 3 minutes is up, if you could please stop so I don't have to play microphone cop. 3 minutes. You'll see the yellow light come on 30 seconds before your time is up. Red light comes on when your time is expired.